Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. The blackguard said, "We don't want to start a war. Why do you have to gamble with their lives?" The thousands of cultivators retreated one after another. Xian Chengzi, Mo Xinglu, and Zhang Yan's expressions were extremely unsightly at this moment. Lu Zhou shook his head and asked, "What does it have to do with me if they die or not?" Xian Chengzi, Mo Xinglu, and Zhang Yan. The trio felt as though they had fallen into a sea of despair. No matter who won or lost today, the three sects would not have a good ending. What was going on? What sin did they commit that before they could even warm up the life hearts they obtained, the life hearts were snatched away and they were ruthlessly sent to hell? 6 blackguards. 6,000 realms whirling avatars. These were enough to sweep through the Golden Lotus domain and the Red Lotus domain. Fortunately, the internal strife in the Black Tower Council was serious. Otherwise, there would be a huge disaster. The cultivators retreated more than 100 meters, but it was of no use. In a battle between 1,000 realms whirling experts, they were like ants walking among elephants. They felt like fish on a chopping board. "You insist on making an enemy out of the Black Tower Council?" The blackguard continued to ask. Lu Zhou said, "Why are you talking so much? You don't dare to recklessly kill because you're afraid of being punished, right?" The black guards were shocked. "The 3 life hearts are already in my possession. Do you think 6 of you can snatch them from me?" Lu Zhou asked. Inwardly, he calculated his strength and 6 opponents' strengths. His opponents had 26 birth charts collectively. If he used the deadly strike cards, he would be able to destroy 5 birth charts. With the supreme mystic power, he should be able to destroy 2 birth palaces. However, there would still be 3 people left behind. Although he had some decent weapons, they did seem sufficient. The gap was rather big. Lu Zhou decided to intimidate them first. The blackguard said again, "The Black Tower Council is doing this to protect the Red Lotus domain. Life and death are determined by fate, wealth and honor are determined by heaven. Did you ask them if they want to be protected?" Lu Zhou pointed at the thousands of cultivators who had retreated to the sides. The blackguard tried to explain again, "The Red Lotus domain isn't strong enough. Just a low-level birth chart beast is enough to make all of them miserable. If they encounter a beast king." "Enough," Lu Zhou raised his hand and interjected, "I'm tired of hearing such words." The blackguards looked at each other. It's their first time meeting, how could the old man be tired of listening to such words? "Then don't blame us for being rude. Get into formation." 4 blackguards suddenly flashed and surrounded Lu Zhou. The black guards did not give up. In their opinion, there were 6 of them, so their chances of winning were very high. In just a blink of an eye, they began to fight. Everyone exclaimed in shock. The speed was too fast. Was this the might of 1,000 realms whirling experts? One of the blackguards raised the long halberd in his hand and brandished it around. Lu Zhou frowned slightly. "I'll grant you your wish." Lu Zhou seemed to have vanished into thin air before he appeared behind the blackguard standing in the east direction and struck with his palm. As though he could sense the danger, the blackguard flashed away. Alas, Lu Zhou seemed to have predicted his movement and moved to his back again at an even faster speed before striking with his palm again. Little 5. Lu Zhou's expression remained unchanged as 5 fingers shone with blue light. Everyone born into the world had a name and race. They would eat, drink, experience happiness and sadness. Originating from nothing, from it comes everything. Living in samsara and learning from it. This was the power of past lives. Bang. Following that, abandoned wisdom shot out and landed on the blackguard's back. As expected, he was sent flying back and spat out a mouthful of blood. However, surrounded by energy, the blood looked black. Ding. Destroyed 1 birth chart. Reward, 6,000 merit points. Lu Zhou felt like the technique was not very suitable for destroying too many birth charts at once. The supreme mystic power was rather limited. Nevertheless, the palm seal perfectly displayed his might. When Mo Xinglu saw the familiar blue light, she exclaimed in surprise, "It's him?" "Who?" "The old senior who killed Yu Qinshu." "It's him?" Xian Qingzi was shocked as well. The person who killed Yu Qinshu only had 10 leaves at that time. However, in less than a year, he now possessed the power to fight against 6 blackguards. Meanwhile, the blackguard's expression was one of shock and disbelief after his birth chart was destroyed. Upon seeing this, the 2 captains brandished their long halberds that were shrouded with black energy. The atmosphere seemed to turn gloomy in just an instant, and their aura seemed to have grown stronger. At this time, the blackguard in the western direction manifested his avatar. The 3 birth charts on the black astrolabe shot out beams of light immediately. Lu Zhou flashed and dodged the attacks. With the ability from the 4th birth chart, his speed was so fast that it seemed like he had disappeared into thin air. "Where is he? Be careful." In just a blink of an eye, Lu Zhou flashed to the back of the Black Thousand Realms whirling avatar and grabbed it with one hand. His other hand shone with a blue light as he brought it down on the birth palace in the lotus seat. Lu Zhou's speed was so fast that the blackguard trembled in fear. No. Lu Zhou's hand ruthlessly destroyed the birth palace. The avatar was damaged in just an instant, and the 3 birth charts on the astrolabe went at the same time. Although Lu Zhou did not obtain merit points by destroying the birth palace, it was convenient that he could destroy a few birth charts at once. Without the avatar and the birth charts, the blackguard in front of Lu Zhou was a weak sheep. The blackguards in the surroundings rushed to their comrades. Retreat. A blue lotus appeared and bloomed under Lu Zhou's feet at this moment. The surging energy from the blue lotus swept toward the 5 blackguards. Bang. Bang. The energy from the blue lotus cut through the mountain range in Eastern Forest Mountain like a hot knife through butter. Now that the 5 blackguards had disappeared, Lu Zhou pressed his hand down on the chest of the blackguard whose birth palace he destroyed. The blackguard fell from the sky and crashed heavily on the ground. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 8,000 merit points. Domain bonus, 2,000 merit points. Lu Zhou did not let down his guard. He looked around for the remaining blackguards, but they were nowhere to be seen. Did they use some secret technique to escape? Could it be an invisibility technique? From this battle, it could be seen that his combat techniques for the Thousand Realms whirling were still insufficient. Yan Zhenluo's book only covered the basic common knowledge after all. There were no secret techniques. He had used the supreme mystic power thrice now and depleted half of it. If he used all his trump cards, it was not impossible to kill all of them. However, he did not think it was worth it. The power of hearing. Blue energy lingered around Lu Zhou's ears. The range of his hearing spanned 1,000 meters in just an instant. Every sound of the movement, breath, and heartbeat of those from the Seeking Heaven sect, the True Kunlun sect, and the Void sect entered his ears. Lu Zhou turned around and glanced at Xian Qingzi and the others. With just a glance, the trio immediately fell to their knees in the air. "Old sir, please forgive us." Upon seeing this, thousands of people fell to the ground at the same time. "Old sir, please forgive us." At this moment. Thump. 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 The sound of heartbeats? Lu Zhou's attention was not on them but on the north of the mountain range in the Eastern Forest Mountain. He recalled the blackguards seemed to have come from the north earlier. He flashed and traveled thousands of meters north in just a blink of an eye. He hovered in the air and continued to listen. Thump. 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 All of a sudden, the extremely faint sound of heartbeats stopped. The surroundings were terrifyingly quiet. Lu Zhou placed one hand on his back as he said in a low voice, "Playing cat and mouse with me?" Lu Zhou struck with his palm. Boom. A golden palm seal flew in the direction where he last heard the heartbeat and landed on a rock. 4 blackguards appeared immediately. They rushed toward the 5th blackguard who was hit by the palm seal before they escaped in a flash. Go. Where are we going? Lu Zhou chased after them at an even more exaggerated speed. Lu Zhou, who had obtained Di Zhang's ability, felt that the blackguard's speed was a little slow. He wondered if they were intentionally slowing down. It was similar to how human movements were slow in the eyes of cats, just not as exaggerated. They were all Thousand Realms whirling experts after all. In a blink of an eye, Lu Zhou had already chased them to the northern jungle. Meanwhile, Xian Chengzi, Mo Xinglu, and Zhang Yan looked at each other. Should we chase after them? Mo Xinglu asked. No, we should just stay here, Xian Chengzi said. If we chase after them, we might get hurt. The disciples below nodded. The battle of the 10-leaf experts in the Sky-Will Mountain range had already leveled the mountains and the valley. In comparison to the battle between so many Thousand Realms whirling experts, that was likely just like an appetizer. Zhang Yan sighed as he said with a troubled expression, then, the life heart. At this point in time, you can still think about the life heart? It's better to think about how to save your life. The three of them lowered their heads and sighed in unison. They decided not to leave and wait instead. They knew they could run now, but they wouldn't be able to run forever. If the Thousand Realms whirling experts were angered, who knew what they would do? It was better to just wait. At least, there was a chance of survival. Now that they thought about it, after meeting the blackguards, the old Thousand Realms whirling expert seemed rather reasonable. While chasing after the blackguards, Lu Zhou hesitated slightly. Based on what he knew, the blackguards should not be so weak. Moreover, their fighting style was too timid. After losing only one blackguard, they turned tail and ran. Lu Zhou was puzzled. Were they really from the powerful black guards in the Black Tower Council? In the forest east of the Eastern Forest Mountain. Buzz. Buzz. Two golden avatars towered in the sky. One of the avatars had a spinning golden lotus with 10 leaves. The tips of the leaves were burning with wisps of golden flames. The other avatar had no lotus, which made it look rather cool and mysterious. 10 leaves revolved around the avatar in an orderly manner like 10 moons revolving around Earth. 10 leaves? Lu Zhou, naturally, knew what happened as soon as he saw the avatars. With so many people looking out for Yu Zhenghai and Yu Shangrong, it was only a matter of course that they successfully sprouted the 10th leaf. At this moment, the 5 blackguards hesitated for a moment before they flew toward the 2 10-leaf avatars. Upon seeing this, Lu Zhou frowned slightly. You dare to target my disciples? Lu Zhou mobilized the power of the 4th birth chart. A golden light seemed to shine from his body. Soon after, the space seemed to ripple and distort when he moved due to the extreme speed. Lu Zhou arrived at the back of the 5 blackguards at the speed of light and struck with his palm. The 5 blackguards turned around and stood shoulder to shoulder with their halberds next to them. Then, they flashed and disappeared again. Lu Zhou's palm strike missed its targets. What kind of move was that? Lu Zhou turned around and confirmed his disciples were safe and sound. At the same time, he saw Si Wuya flying over on Di Zhang's back. He hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Si Wuya. Don't come over. The blackguards must be still in the vicinity. Based on that earlier move, their speed increased for a moment. It was faster than the speed of flashing. If his disciples came over and were taken hostages, it would be quite troublesome. Si Wuya and Di Jiang hovered in the sky thousands of meters away, unmoving. Master, what's wrong? The black guards. They're all Thousand Realms whirling experts, Lu Zhou said as he looked around. Si Wuya, worthy of being Lu Zhou's smartest disciple, rose higher into the sky and looked at the setting sun, the clouds, and the ground. He looked in all directions before he finally said through voice transmission, Master, continue to go north. They'll definitely go north. Si Wuya was right. However, Lu Zhou said, no, if they turn back, all of you will be in danger. Lu Zhou flew slightly north to a large valley. It was humid here, the terrain was rougher, and there were beasts. Lu Zhou chanted the mantra for the power of hearing. For a few thousand meters, there were no sounds of movement at all. This time, there was no heartbeat. Lu Zhou moved forward slowly. Every few meters, he would stop and look around. I gave you a chance. Not only did you not cherish it, but you provoked me instead, Zhou said as he continued moving forward. He cut off the power of hearing. He decided to save his supreme mystic power and rely on his cultivation base instead to sense the movement around him. Although he had just killed a blackguard, he could not be complacent. Creak. A sound rang from the left. Why are you so aggressive, old sir? Zhou raised his hand. Swoosh. Boom. A palm seal landed on the towering tree, shattering it immediately. Nevertheless, no one could be seen. When you provoked me earlier, did you think about the consequences? What makes you think you can twist right and wrong as you wish? Let me show you the vastness of the universe today. A reply came from the front right. We've given up the 3 life hearts. Why don't we forget about this matter? Moreover, we've lost one of our comrades. Why don't we consider that as compensation for our previous offenses? This blackguard was rather smart and flexible. Zhou looked around his surroundings as he fell deep into his thoughts. He did not strike the spot where the voice came from. He thought it was not a bad idea to end the matter like that. However, a cold voice rang from the depths of the northern jungle at this moment. Kill him or all of you will die. Lord Wu. Lord Wu. Even the blackguard sounds so respectful when addressing this person. Is he the judge? I acted too ostentatiously this time. Is it too late to escape now? Yes. The voice seemed to come from the depths of hell. It sounded like it came from very far away. This Lord Wu was clearly quite far away and was not bothered with personally making a move. Zhou raised his head. A fierce wind began to blow. The sky darkened and the sun dimmed as thunder rang and lightning flashed in the air. Zhou leaped up the sky and arrived above a towering tree. When he looked down at the basin in front of him, he saw a shocking scene. A flag was erected in 5 directions around the basin. The flags were the color of ink, and the black patterns on the flags flashed faintly. The flags that were 1,000 feet tall covered a vast area. Formation flags? Zhou was surprised to see them. The 1,000-foot black formation flags were rather strange. Even at the height he was hovering at, he still had to crane his neck up to look at them. At this moment, the 5 formation flags began to shoot out black energy swords. As thunder and lightning rang and flashed in the sky, the energy swords swept out, cutting down all the trees in an instant. The energy swords seemed indestructible. They continued flying out even after hitting targets after targets. Zhou looked at the 5 blackguards standing under the 5 formation flags respectively as they held their halberds. Buzz. 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 5,000 realms whirling avatar appeared for a moment before they disappeared again. In just an instant, 5 heaven-defying black energy swords shot toward Zhou. Unnamed. Zhou raised a hand, turning Unnamed into a shield with the scripts from the Taiji Yin and Yang. Boom. The 5 terrifying energy swords slammed against Unnamed, pushing Zhou back hundreds of meters away from the basin. Buzz. The energy swords did not dissipate and kept pushing against Unnamed. Zhou was in disbelief when he felt his blood chi roiled in his body. I have underestimated you. Boom. The supreme mystic power. Unnamed shattered the 5 energy swords in just an instant. Meanwhile, the 5 formation flags fluttered in the wind. With each movement, a sonorous and powerful noise would ring in the air. Soon after, they shot out energy swords again. Was this the might of the Black Guards?